Imagine a chicken with no head.
What?
That headless chicken is not only surviving but thriving for 18 months.
Oh my God! Wow!
Performing in sideshows, touring the United States, and earning a fortune for its owner. This is the incredibly true story of Mike the Headless Chicken. And trust me, you have never heard of anything like this before. Our story begins in Fruita, Colorado, the year 1945. The world had just emerged from the horrors of World War II, and the quiet agricultural town of Fruita was getting back to normal. Enter Lloyd Olson, a humble farmer who, like most rural Americans, raised chickens for meat. One fine September afternoon, Lloyd's mother-in-law was coming for dinner, and she loved chicken. So naturally, Lloyd walked into his backyard and picked a 5-month-old one-adult rooster from the coop. He took his axe, positioned the bird, but instead of collapsing to a lifeless heap, the chicken staggered back to its feet. And then it kept walking. Not just walking, but flapping, strutting, and even attempting to peck the ground with a head that wasn't there. Lloyd and his wife Clara were stunned. The chicken, now minus a head, kept walking around the yard as if nothing had happened. Lloyd figured maybe this was some strange accident. Maybe he had missed. He examined the bird closely and confirmed that the axe had removed most of the head, including the eyes, beak, and the face. But somehow, some part of the brain was still functioning. What Lloyd had accidentally done was a surgical miracle. You see, the brain of a chicken isn't all in the head. The part responsible for basic bodily functions, heart rate, breathing, digestion, balance, is located in the brain stem at the base of the skull, just above the spinal cord. And miraculously, Lloyd's axe had missed the brain stem. Even more astonishing, he had also avoided severing the jugular vein completely. The result? Minimal bleeding and a still living chicken. But now what? Lloyd couldn't just let the bird roam around like that, so he named it Mike. And he began caring for Mike, the headless wonder. Every day, Lloyd used a dropper to feed him a mixture of milk and water, sometimes enriched with grains or small worms. He would tilt Mike's neck upward, letting the liquid drip down the open esophagus. He even used a syringe to clear mucus out of the throat opening, preventing choking. And Mike kept living. Word spread quickly. The neighbors were shocked. Then the local paper caught wind. Then the wire services. Before long, Life magazine featured Mike in a full spread. Chicken lives without head, the headline read. And just like that, Mike, the headless chicken, became a sensation. Soon, Lloyd and Mike hit the road, literally. They joined a sideshow tour and traveled through states like Arizona, California, and Texas. People paid 25 cents a head to watch the headless bird. Lines stretched around the block. Newspapers dubbed him the Headless Wonder Chicken. And guess what? Lloyd was making $4,500 a month from ticket sales, the equivalent of over $70,000 a month today. A headless chicken was earning more than most doctors in 1945. Of course, the scientific community was baffled. How was this possible? Neurologists and vets eventually explained that the medulla oblongata, the lower part of the brain stem, was intact in Mike's case. This part is critical for involuntary bodily functions. Chickens also have reflexive motor circuits in their spine, which can allow movement even without full brain input. Normally, when a chicken is beheaded, the trauma, blood loss, or destruction of the brainstem causes rapid death. But in Mike's case, he had just enough brain tissue and functional systems to keep going. No eyes, no ears, no beak, but he could still balance, perch, walk, and cluck slightly through his exposed throat. It wasn't just the science, it was the raw survival instinct. This was biology's ultimate fluke. Mike even had a manager, a promoter named Hope Wade. Together, Lloyd and Wade booked events, appeared on radio shows, and raked in money. Mike's fame soared. He had fans, photographers, and skeptics. Some called it a hoax, but they were quickly shut down when Mike was taken to the University of Utah. There, researchers confirmed that this bird was 100% headless and 100% alive. Lloyd even carried around the severed head in a jar of alcohol for curious reporters. Mike became more than a freak act. He became an American icon of resilience, a creature who, against all odds, simply refused to die. But then tragedy struck. In March 1947, about 18 months after his decapitation, Lloyd and Clara were staying at a motel in Phoenix, Arizona after a long day on tour. Mike began to choke in the middle of the night. Lloyd had accidentally left the feeding and cleaning syringes behind at the last show. Without them, he couldn't clear Mike's open throat in time. Mike, the headless chicken, suffocated. He was dead by morning. Lloyd was devastated. He had refused to tell the public for weeks, fearing the end of the sensational story. But eventually the truth came out. But the legend of Mike didn't end there. The town of Fruita, Colorado, where it all began, embraced the legacy of its most bizarre icon. To this day, Fruita holds an annual Mike the Headless Chicken Day, complete with chicken-themed games, contests, and even a 5K run. A bronze statue of Mike stands in town square, immortalizing the bird who lived headless longer than any in recorded history. He's been featured in books, documentaries, science exhibits, and Guinness World Records. Because sometimes a chicken with no head can have more will to live than most of us. If you found this story fascinating, hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video.